This is the Smart Poker Study Podcast for players who are always striving to be better today than they were yesterday. Through strategy discussions, Q&As, and Poker Pro interviews, we'll dive deep into everything related to poker tactics, study techniques, and the mental side of the game. All in an effort to improve your skills, maximize your profits, and to make you a lifelong successful player. This podcast is brought to you by SmartPokerStudy.com, and I'm your host, Sky Matsuhashi. Poker people, make sure you listen to episode number 6, where I talked about my 2016 Smart Poker goals, and I challenged you to make some of your own and requested that you include me as one of your accountability partners. Hey, poker people, and I trust you're having a tubular Tuesday. You know, I love those old words like tubular, rad, bodacious, and word. Yeah, I love that one especially. It's always good for a laugh. It's like, hey, Sky, you joining us for cocktails after work? Word. Hey, Sky, Hateful Eight was radical, yeah? Word. Yeah, I love word. Oh, and I just had my first guest post go up on another coach's website. I've been writing articles for my own site for quite a while, but it's the first time I've ever been able to put one on someone else's. The article I wrote is all about getting the most from poker strategy books, and the title of it is How to Keep the Knowledge from the Highest Impact Poker Books. You can read the article on enhanceyouredge.com. This is a site created by a longtime poker player, professional player, poker coach, Brad Wilson. He's currently crushing $3, $6, and $2.4 online. So please check out his blog with great articles and training videos at enhanceyouredge.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for his newsletter so you can get his articles delivered directly to your inbox. He's also got some killer training videos on YouTube. And while you're there, just search for Brad Wilson and you'll find his channel. And you can find him on Twitch at twitch.tv/enhanceyouredge. So if you read the article, please let me know what you think. Anywho, have I got a great episode for you today. I'm going to discuss how I build new habits into my life by using 30-day challenges. Not only can they instill new healthy habits in your life, but they can also be a ton of fun and can fast-track you to success with whatever goals you're interested in achieving. Alright, just to give you a little overview of the episode, we'll begin by discussing habits and why we want to build healthy ones into our life. We'll talk about some sample poker habits worth building, then talk about 30-day challenges and how they can help with building these habits. I'll give you 5 steps to making them a success, and at the end of the podcast, I'll announce my new 30-day challenge to myself that started today. And also, I created a 30-day challenge tracker that you can download for yourself in the show notes for this page to help you implement 30-day challenges in your own life. Everything I discuss here will be in the show notes for this episode, which you can find at smartpokerstudy.com/7. Now here it is, today's podcast mission. By the end of this podcast, you will know how to build healthy habits with 30-day challenges and how to get the most out of the time spent completing the challenge. Before I get into 30-day challenges, let me talk a little bit about habits. What is a habit? It's something we repeatedly do and we find it hard to quit doing. So maybe it's something we find fun, compelling, rewarding, or maybe it's an addiction or a compulsion. So habits can be good or bad, and today I just want to focus on good habits. Bad habits is something we could discuss later, maybe bad habits leading to tilt or to leaks or whatever the case, but we'll leave that off for later. So Aristotle said one of my favorite quotes, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." Good on you, Aristotle. Excellence in any endeavor is actually long-term success. So sure, there's short-term success like winning a tournament, earning 4 buy-ins in 1 cash session. But true poker excellence is being able to do these things over the long haul after years and years of playing. Building great habits is a key to that long-term success. A lot of people would say that it takes discipline to succeed over the time. But as we discussed in episode 3 about the book The One Thing, I talked about how discipline isn't real. It's just habits that you have that appear to be discipline to others. So whatever our goal is in life, there are habits that we can develop that help us achieve our goal. I'd like to list some habits that poker players can develop that can lead to long-term poker success. So daily study, daily exercise, eating healthy, getting enough rest, ranging opponents with each hand played or observed, always being aware of stack and pot sizes, considering what to do on the next street before we act on the current street, having opening ranges we follow for each and every hand that we play, So these are all habits that, if built into our lives, would make us stronger players. So now, how do we build these new habits into our lives? And that's why we're talking about 30-day challenges. I love using 30-day challenges for building habits. So I have to admit that 30 days isn't normally enough to build a habit. This is a little caveat at the beginning of the podcast here. As I talked about in episode 3 about the one thing, it takes an average of 66 days to build a new habit. Well, we can start with a 30-day challenge, and if it's enjoyable and we're getting a lot out of it, just do it again, And oh, by the way, there I go mentioning the one thing again. So like I said before in that podcast, just 3 simple words: best book ever. If you haven't read it, read it. If you don't have time to read, get the audiobook, listen to it, do what you got to do. So you're starting a new habit. That's great. How do you know it's really something you want to build into your life? It might sound good now, but you might find that it's just not for you. Start with 30 days, and if you find it beneficial and enjoyable, do it for another 30. Turn it into a 60-day challenge, Heck, if you're really not sure if it's a good fit for you or not, start with 10 days. If it works, go to 20, then 30, and so on and so forth until you've made it a habit at 30, 40, 50, 60 days, however long it takes. But I do recommend starting with 30 days because it's an easy, doable target. It doesn't feel insurmountable like 66 days can, and it doesn't feel inconsequential like 10 days can. Okay, so now we come to the meat and potatoes of 30-day challenges. I have for you 5 steps to successful 30-day challenges. As we're going through the steps, we're going to look at each of them with a specific habit in mind that we want to incorporate into our lives. So let's build a habit of poker studying 1 hour every single day. So that's the habit we're going to be discussing, the 30-day challenge we'll be discussing, and these 5 steps, we'll talk about each step with that idea in mind, studying every single day. So here are the 5 steps to successful 30-day challenges.
Number 1.
Have a goal. So we need to have a compelling reason, a really strong why to get through the 30 days. So what is our why? Just having a good habit in mind might be enough to complete all 30 days. So of course we know that studying every single day is going to improve our game, but sometimes that's just not enough. Knowing that something's good for us doesn't keep us doing it, But having a smart goal to accomplish in the process will make it all the more meaningful to you and will incentivize you to push through when the days get really tough. So remember, SMART, once again, was specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So let's make a SMART goal. By the end of 30 days, I want to have a strong grasp of sit-and-go play. So in the final 5 days of the challenge, my ROI will be 20% over 150 sit-and-goes. So this is obviously a SMART goal. It fits all of the criteria, and studying daily will help us to achieve it. So this goal also has the added benefit of guiding or directing our study during the 30 days to be all focused on sit-and-go play. We won't waste any time studying cash or MTT or Zoom play, anything like that. We're focused on sit-and-goes. We want to study every single day, so that's what we're going to study.
Number 2.
Make a plan. That is step number 2 to have a successful 30-day challenge. Now that we have this 20% S&G return on investment goal, we can make a plan to attain it while hitting our 30-day study challenge. So for a sit-and-go study plan, maybe we'll study each of the following for 4 days each. Early stages, mid stages, late stages, on the bubble, in the money, ICM, and heads up play. So that's 7 topics total. At 4 days per topic is 28 days. We can spend 2 additional days on studying common sit-and-go leaks, and bam, we've improved our sit-and-go game and completed our 30-day challenge. 2 birds, 1 stone. Word.
Number 3.
Start small. That's the 3rd step in completing a successful 30-day challenge. If it's new or tough, start small. Let's say we've never spent more than 2 hours per week studying. Are we realistically going to hit 7 hours a week? Oh, heck no. That's how my son says heck no. Let's have the same plan for the sit-and-go topics to study, but start day 1 with 20 minutes and add 2 minutes per day to our study time. On day 21, we'll be at the full 60 minutes, and bam! We've gradually built our tolerance for study up to 60 minutes per day. We are on our way.
Number 4.
plan for failure is step number 4. If it's tough and worth doing, plan for failure. Like I just said, we're likely going to fail if we've only ever studied 2 hours in a week. If you skip a day, it's not over. Do not quit. You've got to remember it's not all or nothing, or go big, go home. Keep the following 3 words in mind. Don't miss twice. That's going to be your mantra. Should you miss one day, do not miss twice, because then most likely you'll just quit then and there. But if you miss that first day, make up for it on day 2 or the next day. You will be right back on track. You'll feel good. You'll be on your way to the full 30 days. So for this particular challenge, let's say we miss a day. Our plan for failure could be to wake up 30 minutes earlier than normal and do 30 minutes of study. Then later on in the day, during our normal study time, we do that session. So now in one day, we've completed 2 study sessions, so we're back on track for that 30-day challenge. And there's many other plans that you can make as well, but whatever your plan for failure is, set it in advance so you can rely on it when the inevitable occurs. Because if it's a challenge to you, if it's a true challenge to you, it's going to be tough, and there's got to be at least a 10-20% chance that you're going to fail somewhere along the way. So make a plan for that failure.
Number 5.
Create a reward. So that is step 5 in completing a successful 30-day challenge. So let me tell you something. You are much more likely to succeed if you dangle a killer carrot out in front of you as a reward. Sometimes the intrinsic reward of knowing you accomplished a task just isn't enough to push you through the tough parts. For example, let's say there's something that we've really been wanting, like a sexy poster of Carmen Electra or Breaking Bad, the complete series on DVD. Well, whatever it is, now is a good time to reward yourself with it after you accomplish something worthy and work to build a healthy habit in your life. All right, so just to recap the 5 steps to successful 30-day challenges. Step number 1 was have a goal. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Step number 2, make a plan. Step 3, start small. If it's difficult, go small and build up over time. Step 4 was plan for failure. And step number 5 was create a reward. And as a special bonus to you, if you go to the show notes for this page, smartpokerstudy.com/7, you'll find a 30-day challenge tracker that I created just for you, just for this challenge, with everything mentioned here to help you in your first 30-day challenge. All right, so one of the reasons why I chose to talk about 30-day challenges today is because today marks day 1 of a brand new challenge I'm giving myself, and that is 30 days of podcasts. I am going to do 1 podcast every single day for 30 days, so by February 17th, I'll have a total of 36 podcast episodes posted. That's 36 different ways for you to increase your skills, improve your game through listening to my podcast. So thank you very much for listening to this here. You might be asking, why am I doing 30 days? Well, I set off first just to do 2 podcasts a week. It didn't seem too difficult, and it really hasn't been. It's just a little time consuming, but it's not difficult to do. But I realized that the more I practice now, the better podcaster I'll be, and the sooner I'll be that better podcaster. So by doing 30 days in a row, that'll be 30 focused days of 3 to 4 hours a day, creating the podcast, editing it, posting it, doing the show notes, all that jazz. 30 days in a row is going to give me tons of practice. Now, I ain't going to be an expert by the end of it, guaranteed, but I will be at least a little bit closer to the podcaster I want to be. So that's the reason for this challenge right here. So, speaking of like the 5 steps, of course, my SMART goal is by February 17th, I will have 36 podcast episodes posted. My plan is that I've got all 30 days of topics laid out, a little Excel spreadsheet calendar for myself. I know when my interviews will be and my Q&A episodes, so I've just got to work the plan and record and post a new podcast daily. And of course, start small with step 3. I'm not really going to be doing that as I don't feel it's necessary. I'm not going to create like a 5-minute podcast, then a 6, then a 7. But I'm just simply doing everything else, and starting small is really not an option for me right now. Failure. If I fail to post an episode, the next day I'll do a quick Q&A episode with some of the questions that I've received that are backing up. I will post that, then I'll follow it up with a normal strategy episode after that. I know it'll be a tough challenge, and I promise you now that I won't quit and I won't miss twice. If I miss once, I guarantee I won't miss twice. And step number 5 was have a reward. So after posting each podcast, I'll allow myself to watch one episode of Breaking Bad, which I've never seen, and my wife actually got me the DVDs for Christmas, so I've been looking forward to watching it, and I figured a great way to reward myself for doing this challenge is to start watching the show. One podcast equals one episode of Breaking Bad. So by the end of the 30 days, I'll be almost done with season 3. That's awesome. After that, I'll probably do a new 30-day challenge, which will help me finish out the whole Breaking Bad series. So I cannot wait. Challenge! Here's my challenge to you for this episode. Set your own 30-day challenge. Follow the 5 steps above and email me what your challenge is and why you're doing it. I'd love to go over all of these in a future podcast about each of your challenges and see what we're all focused on. So now it's your turn to take action and do something positive for your poker game.
Oh, that's it now. Get out there and be somebody. Go write a book.
So to recap the episode, we discussed habits and how 30-day challenges can help you build healthy habits into your life, and I gave you a complete rundown of one good challenge you can put yourself through, and that was studying every day for 30 days. I also announced my own 30 days of podcasting challenge. Then I challenged you to build your own habit with the 30-day challenge. Please go to the show notes at smartpokerstudy.com/7 for links to everything mentioned here and to download that 30-day challenge tracker. Thank you so much for listening today. Send me your constructive feedback through the show notes page at smartpokerstudy.com/7. You can also send me an email to sky@smartpokerstudy.com, tweet me at smartpokerstudy, or post in the Facebook group at smartpokerstudy.com/discuss. And I need your cues for the Friday episodes. Please send them to me through all the channels just mentioned. And as a bonus, if you have a good idea for a podcast topic you'd like me to discuss, I'd love to hear that as well. I'm always interested in new ideas. It'll keep me going for the show for years to come. And occasionally we get really nice listener comments in various forms, and this one came in through iTunes. Mike Chan says the title is Crush It at the Tables with Sky's Help. This is a great poker podcast. Sky has tons of passion for the game. He knows it inside and out, and it comes through in this show. But listening to the show makes me sad that I can't play poker that often anymore. The next time I do play, I will use Sky's tips. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for giving me that review. I really do appreciate it. So please, everyone else, subscribe to the Smart Poker Study podcast through your favorite podcast app. Give it a heart, some stars, a thumb, whatever it allows, and leave a review to help others discover the show. Alrighty, poker people, be sure to listen to tomorrow's episode number 8, where I discuss focus sessions and how to put new concepts, plays, and skills that you're learning to use in your game. Word of mouth is the best advertising, and a recommendation from you to one of your friends would be most appreciated. If you enjoyed our time together and learned a little something, please share it with the cuz. Until next time, study smart, play hard, and make your next session the best one yet.